What's happening then? It's your boy Collar Park Sean here with a little paint, a little seasoning with reasoning. Like I said before, you can't get them dreams while you sleep. You got to get up and move them feet. You know what I'm talking about? What you got for him, 18?
Man, I was late because I was asleep, so the dreams wasn't being got. But I'm here now, man.
You're here now, man. You're here now.
Let's go.
Yes, indeed, man. I'm going to start off real quick. It was something we kind of touched on a little bit last week before we even jump into one of our favorite sections. The Michael B. White situation on the red carpet. Seemed like everybody had something to say about it. Me personally, I was fine with what he did. And the reason why I say that is because you never know how you affect people when you're a kid. And yeah, it was a kid. But
Brian, I hate you.
The problem with that was the way that she started the conversation. I think if she had just went up and interviewed, said what she had to say and went on. But she came up like they were folk. Like, yeah, we go way back. She threw the school name out there and everything. And so he was like, yeah, I'm the weird kid, right?
Corny.
I disagree.
No, she called him.
Oh, she corny. Oh, okay. Yeah, and he stood there. He didn't walk off. He stood there, let her finish saying what she had to say. Yeah, I'm the corny kid, right? And he stood there, let her say what she had to say, and did her little thing and moved on. But you never know how you affect people. And just, I felt like she was trying to make herself a little bigger than she was by saying, we go way back and this and that, da-da-da. Just do your job and go on with it. That's how I feel about it.
Yo, shout out to my homeboy 12, man. We just having this conversation the other day about how we were in high school. And we was bullies, man. We was bullies. I hope, man, it's so crazy that I think I owe an apology to everybody in high school.
The hell?
I mean, dog, because we was something else, and I know I definitely played a big part in this. I was the verbal part. Now, we did a lot of shit that we shouldn't have been doing, dog. But I know definitely on the verbal side of it, yo, he said I was number one. I disagree.
I don't know. Even the way that you be on folk now,
And that's what he said. That's what he said. He said, you be taking shots on the show now. Like, whatever, man. Mind your business. But I could see that if it affected somebody, you never know, like you said, you never know how it affects somebody. He addressed it. They moved on. Mm-hmm. And it was over. He had a right to say it. If he felt he wanted to say it, he did.
Yeah. But you're right. We all had to deal with the Jonas situations back in our day. And sometimes you hold on to it. I know.
That's what I'm saying. Like that, it affected one relationship, man, and I know it did. Like, we cool now, but we talking almost 30 years ago, man. But like, we straight. I'll put it that way. Like it took years for us to get back to the point of, where we are now. But yo, that stuff matters. That stuff matters, man. And so
it does.
Let's treat each other better.
Yeah. What up, B? We see you up in there.
Yeah, B, get on my nerves, man.
On your shirt already, man.
Yeah, get on my nerves.
Y'all know
Shout
it.
out to the homie, man.
Y'all know what time it is, though. You know what that mean. It's time some of this news to get up through here.
You and this news, man.
Yeah, I like that news button. I like that news button. We're going to start off with that Micheal Irvin update. If you didn't know, if you wasn't following, Micheal Irvin was got a complaint filed against him right before the Super Bowl by a Marriott employee that said that he said something to her out of line. He said he didn't say anything. It was actually on camera. Nothing was done. He went to his room, came out. He didn't get to work the Super Bowl. So he's filed a $100 million defamation suit against Marriott. Now, as time has gone on, Marriott has tried to get the case dismissed because I really think they know they finna lose this fight. And
the court.
yeah, and they were pushing Micheal Irvin was pushing to hurry up and get this stuff over with so he can do what he got to do. And the courts actually agreed with him and said, "Hey, Marriott, y'all need to come up with this evidence ASAP. Like, y'all got 7 days to come up with this stuff." So they backpedaling right now. So that really shows that, hey, somebody do you dirty, man. Push the issue. Push the issue. $100 million. $100 million.
Mm-hmm.
$100 million for defamation. I like it. I like it. That's sticking it to the man. That's what you say.
Yeah.
Sticking it to the man.
What else you got, though?
We're going to go on and go a little deeper. Let's stay with sports a little bit. Dame Lillard scored 71 points the other night. He was, and we had this discussion before, about players when they have a great night physically on whatever the field or the court, they get drug tested right after. He was drug tested. He did a urine test before the game, and right after the game, he had to do a blood test. This man been in the league, 12 years? He been in the league for a minute. He said he never had a blood test. Never.
You should have all them shots. Yeah, anyway.
What the? Come on, man.
Go ahead.
Come on, man. There's got to be something to that, man.
They gonna catch one of them. So, I mean, I don't know.
Well, if you ain't doing that,
If they doing it, they do it. I mean, just they paying you all that money, man. They gonna do what they want to do to you. So,
hey,
what
B,
you gonna do?
Don't nobody care about no Cowboys.
I know that's right. I tried to ignore the comment.
No, don't nobody care about no Cowboys.
Yeah, no, that's right. But go ahead, man. I mean, I get it. You know what I'm saying? You have a good night. You have a great night. Let's use the right word. They in your pee. You know what I'm saying? So
I said I was gonna look up and go back with if they tested COVID that night when he dropped the 81.
I doubt it.
I just want to see where all this different stuff is coming from.
Yeah.
And maybe we just got magnifying glasses on everything today.
Right.
So
Kobe, that was 15 years ago.
Yeah. But yeah. So let's go into this Scott Adams. If you don't know who Scott Adams is, you probably know of his work. It's a comic strip that's been running since I think '89. It said the Dilbert comic strip. The creator, Scott Adams, was on his podcast making racist remarks. And his racist remarks were pretty blatant. And he pretty much called black people a hate group. And he also said to other white people,
get away from them.
Just get away the hell away from them. And he doubled down the next day. He tried to come with this little watered up version of, I used to live around black people, and when I saw the neighborhood go down, I went and I moved somewhere else where it was less black people, and I've heard other black people do the same thing. Dude, first off, you ain't black. So, I mean, you're not even in space to say that. I'm not going to give you any kind of validity knowing where your thought process is coming from.
He did say something that I kind of agree with. He said that what's going on can't be fixed.
Correct.
I kind of agree with him. That as far as how this country's going, as far as racism and things like that, it can't be fixed. You have to, I think to fix what's going on in the world, people how they think about each other, you would have to literally erase everybody's minds. It's just where it is. Like, you ever said something to somebody, and then y'all get into it, blah blah blah. Y'all make up. I ain't mean to say that. Blah blah. In the moment, you know what I'm saying, and you forgive them,
right?
But you never forget it, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's just where we are as humans. I I don't think it can be fixed. I just don't. So when he said, I agree with him. I was like, okay, got a point. Are we a hate group? Nah, come on, man, you reaching with that one. You know, separatism is something that I'm not against. You know what I'm saying? I'm really not, for many different reasons. So I kind of, you know, the way he said it a lot, I was like, damn, this dude wildin'. But some of the things he said is, I mean, it ain't wrong in my eyes. You know what I'm saying? I just look at it like, I kind of feel that way. You know what I'm saying? You got it amongst each other. You got, you know, people that live amongst a certain race of people. They don't want to live by them either.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It is blacks, whites, you know, they like, I mean, you know, over there, you know. So, I mean, when it comes from a white mouth, we always look at it as, oh, my God, he can't say that. If it's the truth, though, I mean, what's the problem?
Well, the problem is that, especially if you're complicit in this theory of thought that we are beneath or that we're inferior.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying. If you look at the core of it, like if an Asian person said that, I wouldn't even take that much from it. I'm just being honest. I wouldn't. Because they don't really control anything that has to do with us. They got their own leeway. They got their own. We don't.
Yeah, we're not allowed. We're not allowed to have that.
Exactly. And who's the one stopping us? The white folk. So that's why it's hard for me to be able to side with him, even if he said some realities. And he did. But I'm not gonna give him credit for it.
Right. I hear you. I just sometimes the truth don't matter who say it.
Well, you're right. You're right. And I go back to that point where you're saying that, you know, I think everybody needs to learn how to, we don't tell each other the truth no more. I think we walk around and we just kind of coddle each other, kind of get along. And I think if we could be completely honest with people and just talking on a broad aspect, like even in, like they don't want to hear anything about CRT, critical race theory, you know, and it's the truth. It's not like it's some made up, you know, theory or some made up artwork that somebody did. That was the truth. And it really laid down the foundation for how the nation is and how it's going to continue to be.
Right.
So, I mean, until we start being able to accept the truth, and even from our peers, from each other, if I'm messing up, let me know. And I need to be big enough to accept that and to want to change it or to try to work on it.
I get it.
You know what I mean? So I think we just got to be truthful with each other and be big enough to grow. You know, it's easier said than done.
B say you're not going to change these white people's way of thinking. That's true. I don't think nobody can change anybody's way of thinking, be honest. You know, I know some black people that got a depiction of white people that's, you ask them maybe white people they actually are have interactions with outside of maybe work, because some people don't even work around, you know, a lot of white people at work. Right. You know, it's kind of a thing of a lot of us, like I said on a lot of the shows, a lot of us haven't been in situations of racism or that we recognize it and things like that. We don't like because somebody else don't like.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, or if it's part of us, like, yeah, but you ain't never been in that situation. You know what I'm saying? You just don't like because I don't like them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know, that's the world we live in, but we didn't make it that way.
Yeah, you're
so.
Right. Let me ask you about the separatism aspect. For people who don't know, that means everybody kind of live in their own space with your own people. How do you think that would happen, and how would you think the nation now would structure that? Like, will we get like the East Coast, or would it just be certain, say, neighborhoods, certain counties that section off?
I mean, we have it in neighborhoods now. It's money based.
That's economic.
Yeah, it's money.
Yeah,
it's money based. Yeah. But I don't know, man. I don't even think we'll get it faired in unless, you know, we have to find a way our problem would always be resources because we don't own a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? We don't have the property as far as land to grow a lot of things and things like that. So that will always be our issue. And until we find past those kind of things, it's just it's wishful thinking.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that would go. I don't know if they'd be like, we give y'all the South, we'll take, we go get ages.
And it's funny, being truthful, a lot of that land was stolen from us.
I mean, but where I'm from, Middle Eastern's got their own part of town. It signs up. I'm from Mexican town. Like it exists, absolutely exists.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So
now, would it be restrictions if you go into these, other places like?
It ain't no restrictions, but you there. I mean, with a Dearborn, it's called Dearborn, Michigan. Mm-hmm. The signs are different. Very big signs. Like
they probably got the lights on.
I mean, everything. Like that's where they at. They got the best. They got the highest population of Middle Easterns in the United States live in that one city right there than anywhere else in the world.
I heard you debating with somebody with Dearborn when we was out.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's weird that I get in the debates about shit people reading books, right. But it's all good. But, like I said, that's the wishful thinking part. But I'm not totally opposed to that. So
yeah, okay, that's interesting. I've always been on the fence with that. Like, yeah. And I think even to go deeper, I think our conditioning would hold us back from wanting to share with each other. Like even in today's world, like people just really pouring back into, let's say, the top earners, pouring back into each other as far as a race in the community. A lot of times we compete. They put in our head that we got to compete against each other all the time.
I think what that though is, if you put in a situation, a lot of things with us got to be forced. You know what I'm saying? So if you put in a situation where, look, this is what you got, chain of command, all that, we adapt to that. You know what I'm saying? But right now you don't have that because you could always go, I can do this myself, But if you put in a situation, they be like, get your black ass across that line now.
Yeah.
We figure that out. But, yeah, man, I mean, I listened to what he said, man. A lot of things I was just like, oh, you a little angry little white man. But then some of the things I was just like, I kind of feel the same way. But, but just on mine is, well, it's against you motherfuckers. It ain't me. But, but I get it. I get it.
On top of that, and we're going to move on from this in a second.
Yeah, let's move on from that.
I got one more thing. Y'all with these Teslas and all this, Elon Musk had something to say about this. And his quote was, the U.S. media used to be racist against non-white people. Notice his wording. He don't say black folk. He gonna say non-white people.
Too much money.
Too much. So he said the U.S. media used to be racist against non-white people. Now they're racist against whites and Asians. Maybe they can just stop being racist.
I mean, he trying to. He got too much money involved, man. So
this guy, man.
He gonna talk for money. Asians, whites.
He ain't talking for us.
He ain't got no money.
He got plenty of people working for him. He got them lawsuits.
Right. He don't care about them lawsuits. He don't
care. Yeah. So y'all leave them Teslas alone, man.
I ain't gonna say all that.
I'm gonna say that. Leave them Teslas alone.
I ain't gonna say that.
I got to say it. Somebody got to say it.
Ford, GM, they might feel the same way. They just ain't said it. I ain't gonna say that. Go ahead, dog. Go ahead.
At least they got black folk in that car. They selling off.
Go ahead, man.
Oh, man. All right, what else we got in the news? Oh, man.
I just seen today that John Morent for the Memphis Grizzlies got sit for 2 games because he put up a live with a pistol. He cursed an NBA player, people that didn't know who he was. NBA player, young guy, he portray. He's who he is. I'm gonna say I don't say he's gonna portray because I don't know him personally. But he come off like he got some street in him, and he hang with some dudes that got some street in him. So he showed a gun. He was in the club or something last night after they lost because they lost last night. So I don't even know why he was in the club, but referees played a part in that.
That's what young folks do.
So he got to sit out 2 games. So we'll be following that to see what comes of that. I will say. I was with him at the beginning of the whole thing, where like you are who you are, but at this point, you gonna hurt your own brand. Like I get it, you are who you are. You don't feel like you should be, looked at a certain way because this is who you are. But when you put yourself in situations, you gotta kind of look like you feed a lot of people. So you gotta watch what you're doing, man. You gotta calm down a little bit.
Yeah. And we spoke about that a couple weeks ago when you was off that week. We spoke about it.
Yeah, you speaking with people that don't know what they talking about.
Well, it made a lot of sense. It did pretty good out there. Shannon, shout out Shannon.
There's people that know what they talking about.
But yeah, man, I think, and he actually came out with an apology today.
Because Nike on, Nike looking.
Yeah, for sure. Already.
You be wearing Reeboks next week, which I'm with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
get some Reeboks out.
Yeah, you got to definitely remove yourself from those type of situations when you are in this position, and because you are gonna, at the end of the day, you're gonna kind of kill your potential doing things that have absolutely nothing to do with the court.
He's young, man. He ain't got no.
So hopefully he get it together. He gets somebody around him.
That's my homeboy was like, "Where's Daddy at?" Daddy in the front row.
Right, his dad right there next to him.
So I mean,
doing it. Yeah, son, go on, throw that up.
It's all good.
Yeah, so
I'm rooting for him, man.
Yeah, I like him. I saw that today, and I was like, I'm not wearing his jersey for a while. Like,
I don't wear jerseys,
I wasn't asking you that. I was talking about me, but I was just saying that.
I don't wear jerseys.
Yeah.
So, go ahead, man.
But yeah, man, that was.
You got a Morent jersey?
Huh?
You got a Morent jersey?
Yeah, I got a Morent jersey, and I went up to Memphis. I got me one when I was up in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but yeah, won't be wearing it for a while.
now you can't support him.
Hey, he got to do right, man. I think the older you get, you look at all that, man, before you just. Hopefully, you look at all that before you just blindly supporting people.
That's real. I mean, you gotta. If you put somebody's name on your back, you gotta.
Yeah,
I get it.
I ain't finna be out there like flashing no guns and there with my Morant jersey. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have some little pea shooters. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, man. So, well, we're gonna get into some real stuff now. That's it for the news.
That's it for the news. Yes. Okay.
Oh, good. Oh man. Okay, this one of the things you brought up, man. Triggers and more so, why is it that when we're confronted with adversity, and more in the sense of face-to-face adversity or situations and disagreements, why is violence always our first recourse?
We was talking about this in the break room. Shout out to the homeboy Dave, who I'm waiting on him to come on the show. The triggers that we have, the way we handle them, especially, like everybody can look back at themselves when they were younger and be like, oh man, I put my hands on somebody now. But as you get older, things change. But my question is, why wasn't we taught how to handle things verbally first, or just as a adolescent? A lot of things was protect yourself with all that, but how to protect ourselves wasn't taught to us. We were just told to protect ourselves. And some of us took the physical part versus learning how just to, use our words to say, I'm good on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can just disagree and move on. Why is it always
right.
I have to show you physically that you're wrong?
Right.
Like, that's something we really need to look at. Just a lot of people not here no more because of that, So I just thought it was interesting. Shannon said some people lack communication skills, so they resort to physical response. I agree, but like my question is, why? Who starts the conversation of teaching a different way? Because I remember my mother was a firecracker.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. When she was younger. And now she, she ain't even a pea shooter now. My mother ain't never, she would hate to see us getting a boxing match or whatever now. But she did teach us to protect ourselves, but never taught us how.
Right.
Me and my brother, we were violent at some point in our life. You know, both of us. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, even now you can get in a conversation with somebody and even taking cheap shots. Like, these are things that, you know, nobody's taught you how to handle things without it getting dirty. You know, like, imagine telling somebody something, y'all get into it and hit you with that. Like, where is the people that, you know, that actually could show you? You know, I always make a lot of jokes about Martin Luther King, but I mean, just me, I'm not going that far. You ain't anybody put your hands on me, I just keep walking away. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that person. You know what I'm saying? But how do we deal with that now? Because it's our generation, one after us, one before us. It's all argument, then it goes violence unless you know somebody. Like, if you have no emotional attachment to somebody, you quick to get into it with them, man, and it could go crazy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Versus somebody that you might know, and you might. It all depends, because I'm a person that believe if anybody can get it, I don't need to be around you, because you have no principles, no standards about nothing. If anybody can get it, you know what I'm saying? At what? Where's that person that you draw the line at?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's just my thought on that. Go ahead, brother.
I think that's a loaded question, and I like to think about the psychology aspect of it. As a kid and as an adolescent, where we would want to impose that theory, a kid is influenced more so by their peers more than their parents, right? So if I'm outside and I'm playing all the time and somebody in my face all the time, the kids are gonna hype up a fight, as opposed to me saying, you know what, nah, you got it, dog. We just gonna move on. A lot of times you are influenced more by your peers. And whatever it is that your parents teach you, they can tell you these things. But when you out there, when you on the job, on the field,
right,
it's different. You know what I'm saying?
When you in battle.
When you in battle, it's different, right? And so I think it comes with maturity, and I think it needs to be instilled early, but also protect yourself. So when you get older, I'm going to press harder on the learning how to talk and learning what's more important. Look at the long game. So if you and this kid get to fighting every day, but when y'all, you know, when I'm late or I have to stay over for work, this the parent that come and pick you up. So now you get to fighting with them.
Right.
Now I got to find you another way to, you know what I'm saying? Right. So look at you got to teach them, like, look at the long game of the situation. That only comes with maturity. And another thing, even in our generation, and where we are, I was looking at one of the UFC fighters, black guy from Memphis, Jones.
Jones? I don't think he's from Memphis.
It's one guy from Memphis, but he was on the podcast, and the guy was asking him, like, you know, do you get security? And he was like, I don't really get security unless I go somewhere and I just don't want to take pictures. But he was like, do you get security for people not to fight you? And he was like, no, I'm not worried about that. So he said, if you were out and about such and such and somebody run up on you, he was like, what would you do? He said, back in the day, because I'm from Memphis, we would talk to fight. So he was like, I would do that, you know, but he said, I know I can kill somebody. Right. So he said, at this point in my life, I'm not going to do it. And that's how I am. Like, because if I get to fight now, I'm trying to break something, you know. So,
kind of old to be out there fighting.
Well, and that's why I don't do it, because it ain't going to be too many rounds. So, but he was like, I know I can kill somebody, so there's no way I'm going to go out here and fight somebody.
Like, and Essentials had a good question right there. Where do children learn to hype fights at? Like, where is that taught? Like,
it's in the household. It's in the house and the media. I mean, look at TV.
I mean, we can't blame.
We gloss over TV. Yeah, every show has some kind of fight scene, right?
There wasn't no media when we was kids, dog.
Well, I'm saying, look at TV. That was our media.
Yeah, movies. But the hyper fight though, like. Ooh, remember, I mean, we was instigating. I was an instigating bastard.
Everybody was instigating because we wanted to see the action.
I was like Don King with it, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I mean, what's Shannon? Shannon said something to
be honest, some words hurt worse than physical acts.
Yeah, but that's when you have an emotional attachment to them, I guess. I don't know, because it's still words that I ain't going for. Like, you can't, like I always tell you, like, you can't call me no bitch. I ain't playing with it. It's nothing respectful in it. It ain't nothing to joke about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try to yank your damn teeth out your mouth. That's me though.
And I'm the other. I'm like,
right.
man,
you going on with it, man. Go on with it. And I might take your fight. Hold on, let me call my boy out of name. Hold on, bro.
What you did the other day? He ain't calling no bitch.
Hey man, yeah.
He went in on the post on this dude. I was like, hey, I say he ain't worth a rap. I said that's why I left it alone.
I mean, that's something different. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man though. I like what Central said also too. Like, it's something about conquering. Like, but can you conquer somebody with words though?
Of course.
But you have to be like very witty.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah. Look.
Some people ain't witty. They strong.
They strong, but their vocabulary is kind of minuscule. And see, that's when you start using them words.
Right. Right.
And I've had a few people tell me, Sean, I hate when you snap on me because you don't even cuss. And when you don't cuss, it cuts deeper.
I don't know, dog. I think like when people say dang and darn and all that, I just look at them like, word.
Well, I don't use them words as fillers. So I'm just going to say directly what I got to say.
Shucks.
Gosh darn it.
My man, you got it, dog. We out of here. Let's go. He talking about some shucks.
Come on, pal. Let's take it outside.
Why you got to do the voice, dog?
I love the voice.
Your sister. But, where does it come from?
That's a good question.
Like, we are, and I'm talking about everybody. This ain't just black people, even though I always talking black. We are violent people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you done seen it where a brother tried to walk away, and that was took offensive.
Right.
So he got his head knocked off. You know what I'm saying? Like, where did it start, and how do we change it? Because we've been fighting dog forever. And like she said, we want to win. Like, nobody wants to. It takes a lot, and I commend people to just watch people get into it, man, and some dirty things be said, and the person just keep their cool enough. And sometimes it's just they scared what they'd do to the person, because the quiet one always probably want to fight. You know what I'm saying? That's why you're trying to leave you alone. Like, I want to leave you alone, but you asked for this, so I got to give you what you're looking for. Right. You know what I'm saying? But that's something that I don't know if we could ever get an answer for it. To be honest, Central's like, that it's crazy that we are, you know what I'm saying, as a people, we put them fists up quick, but them words,
right?
People won't use them words, man. Like, there's a lot of triggers out there, man.
It's a lot of triggers, and I think once you tap into somebody's emotional shortcomings, everything else is off the table.
But I agree with what Christopher said. Generations, like me and the homie was talking, man. I took it all the way back to the ancestry, dog. Like, that's the only place I know I could go as far back. You know what I'm saying? Like, it came from somewhere,
right? So
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a tough one, and like you said, just growing up, your parents always tell you defend yourself,
and by any means,
So
what y'all call it, joning, like that's all that kind of stuff come from. So, I don't know, man. It's something though,
and it was regular for us. So you just move a slide, or you either get your joning game up.
You're gonna get one or the other up.
Yeah, you're gonna get one or the other up. But that's a serious one, man. If y'all got some insight on it, or whatever you think it is on how that could change and how we will be able to move forward to kind of push that agenda.
Because I don't think you should have to get old before you learn to calm down.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So,
and I think that's what usually happens with all of us now.
Or somebody put them hands on you real good and you just...
Yeah. Then you start putting stuff in the car seat and the trunk.
But
you say something.
For real.
And your boo. So... Yeah, we got to learn how to be able to. And I don't know. For me, it's always about self-control.
Right.
I say it's always you got to be able to. People are going to do what they're going to do. There's nothing you can do to control that. All you can control is how you react to
I got a question.
Yeah.
I got a question for you. Do you think the world would be a better place if we were just emotionless?
Ooh, that's a good one. No. I'm gonna say no.
You gonna hit that windmill, get knocked out. Bing, bing, bang. Watch that windmill. Bing, bing, bang.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no, because I think a lot of emotion go into our arts, a lot of emotion go into our sports, a lot of emotion go into our conversations.
But if we was emotionless, and what I mean by that is not aggression to do what you need to do as far as, you know, sports or something like that. That's aggression.
Okay,
I'm talking about emotion, like
feeling hurt.
Yeah, like if what like, you know, stuff like that, man. You ever think about stuff like that?
I think of robots just walking around. That's what I think about. I mean, when you hear that.
But would it be a better place if you didn't have that emotion?
Yeah, it would be very boring and a better place.
Like imagine you get into it with somebody and y'all have a disagreement, and you actually concentrated on the problem. So there is no what I feel.
Right. And you say, guy, you're right. I am kind of over the line
with the
on
voice, bro. What is with that?
I got to put myself in my other guy's name is Ricky, so I had to go into my Ricky.
All right, now,
you're right. I was on the line, sir.
When you watching one of them shows, and I mean, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. You will be mad. So stop.
Nah, I ain't gonna be mad. But yeah,
dang, bro, what you saying? Point. You got knocked out here? What's going on, bro?
That's a good point, though.
Yeah, I'm just, just a question. What you got, bro? Where we going? Where we going?
We got another one. This one's a little loaded. And this one for the chat. Y'all gonna go up on this one. Is a man?
She said we don't want emotionless humans. Might be a better place,
right? Is a man thought of as less of a man if he goes in and takes care of another man's family?
Oh, based off that question. I mean, that post.
Yeah. And not saying like, you got some situations where
step parents. This is about step parents.
Yeah. No godparents, none of that.
Is that really a thing still, godparents?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, like, I know some folks
they do something?
Mm-hmm. I know some folks that actually do a lot for their god kid.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Hey, shout out to them, because I don't know.
Yeah, my God, mine.
Don't worry, Brian. I've been knocked out before, dog. Don't worry about it. You ain't alone. I've been knocked out before. Is a man weak if he takes care of another man's responsibility? Okay, check it. Being that I've done it, I never thought about me being weak. What I know now, and I have 4 great children. You know what I'm saying? They're grateful, they're appreciative, things like that, because of what was done for them, and they recognize who was there for them or whatever. What I know now, I don't know if I would do it again. I don't know if I know what I know now at that age, I probably wouldn't. I probably wouldn't want to talk to a woman with kids. I probably wouldn't.
Okay, explain that, because I get a lot of heat for.
It's a lot that goes into being a step parent. It's a very lot. Like the young lady said, what's the benefit? And I don't know if it's even a benefit of being a parent. Like, and I put up a little bit of the clip, but it was so much to it. Like the young lady, she didn't want kids.
I remember that.
She didn't want kids. She didn't even have a man at the time. She was just really saying that what benefit is it for a step parent? Like, you taking on a great deal for something that ain't yours, but you could actually go out there and start your own. Like, it was a quote that I read that said, instead of taking on this, why not build a community center and take care of all? Okay. And I actually understood it. You know what I'm saying?
That's tough though.
It's a lot, but
it's a slippery slope there, brother.
But I don't think it'll ever make you weak. But if you have the like, it's some men who actually still have the opportunity to have kids, and then meet a lady with some kids, or a woman and meet a man with some kids, and it'd be so overwhelming that they just don't do it themselves. They raise the kids that's there.
Right. Do you think that happened with you?
Hell no. What happened with me was we tried to have kids, and death of a kid happened, and it was a trauma for me. I wasn't willing to try that again because of the depression it put me in. Oh, absolutely not. But we actually tried.
Okay.
It's tough, man. It's a tough thing to be a step parent, especially if you're a hands-on step parent, because it's you got two kinds. You got the parent that comes in and these are my kids. I got to take care of them. I don't use the word step. You know what I'm saying? These my kids. You know what I'm saying? And then you got these her kids. I just, I love her. So, you know what I'm saying? I got to take care of these. You know what I'm saying? So, it's a lot, man. Like, how would you, you've never been through it as far as I know, but you've never heard, you're not my dad. You never heard that. You know what I'm saying? Over somebody you really taking care of. Like, shout out to my sister. I love you. You've never been through that. And that's tough. I heard it once. You know what I'm saying? But it was from I think he was like 7. You know what I'm saying? And my son's one that really loves his pops. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a hands-on, with my kids. I've been hands-on since the day I met them. Right. You know what I'm saying? When I decided, like, this is what I'm going to do. Now, you figure I was in my 20s. You know what I'm saying? Kids have a certain love for their parents no matter what's going on. That you just, unless they never met them or they just never do something for them, it's always that space in their hearts for their biological parents.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it's tough. It's tough, man. Like, I understood what she was saying because it really is I don't say weak, but it's a lot to that, man. Like, why did you decide to take on this responsibility versus just going and starting your own? Because, a lot of that, if y'all don't have kids, your legacy dies with you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's a lot, man. How you feel about it?
First off, I want to answer the question. I think it has so much more to do with love of the whoever you're getting involved with.
Look at me.
Yeah, looking real crazy. But I think to answer that question, and then I'm gonna come back to it, I think everything has to do with love, and people use the word love loosely nowadays, but I believe that has more of everything to do with that situation. In my situation, because I've always preached that I didn't want to deal with a woman with kids for every reason you stated.
Right.
Because I look at the longer game, and I look at, if I do come into play, I'm going to be hands-on with this kid. I don't want any interference. You know what I mean? And so I didn't know how I would react if, they got to go do this or they got to go do that. Or he said he finna do this. Hold on, bro. No, you come ask me now because, and we could set up some times, right? You jump in when you want to because, like I said, I'm just going off experiences.
But I need you to get your thoughts out.
Okay.
Yeah, I need you to get your thoughts because I'm long-winded on this.
Okay.
So I need you to get your thoughts out.
Right, and I know this is heavy for you.
Right.
So for me, and I was actually in one situation where I dated a woman, and this was the first time I said, I'm going to go into this situation, and her daughter at the time was 9. We only dated for like 8 months.
Right.
But so she turned 10, and me and the daughter got very close.
Right.
Very close. I was spending a lot of time with the daughter, doing things that the mom didn't have time to do when she was at work. And I used to hear the complaints from the mom about what the real dad wasn't doing. And that used to piss me off with her, not the daughter.
Right.
And so when we broke up because of things of that nature, that wasn't everything, but things of that nature, we broke up. I felt like I lost 2 people. And I said, I don't ever want to go through that again. And that's why I was like, I'm not dating nobody with kids to where I got my hands on them.
Right.
and that's why I stayed away from.
I got my homeboy. He just did a podcast. Shout out to my homeboy Darnell King too. Shout out to him. That's my guy. Where that question was asked to him, and he said his answer was he didn't want to deal with nobody else's interference in his family, like nobody's opinion, nothing. So he tries to stay away from women with children. I completely understand that. You know, it's tough. Like everybody's saying, you're not weak, you're not this and that. But let me ask the men this. Let's say you get with a woman, she has 2 kids, they're young, and you take on that responsibility. But she says she don't want no more kids. Do you walk away from her then? Because you might still want kids. Like, do you walk away, or do you think you're doing an honorable thing by just staying with her? Because, you know, you felt a relationship, you know what I'm saying? But she might get to the point where she be like, you know, y'all met, it was all good, but she get to the point where she's like, I don't want no more kids. Like, do you stay or do you leave?
That's when you got to be true to yourself. It's hard.
When you form this relationship. See, you know what I always look at when people get, when step parents come into play and it don't work out between them, the relationship after the split up between the parents.
And
you know what I'm saying?
Happens with the kids.
And it's really weird for me because my oldest brother and sister, we had different mothers, but we got the same father. But you can't tell. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Me and my brother from my mother, we got different fathers, but you can't tell. You know what I'm saying? My father was a great man in so many different ways. He had his bad time. He whooped ass now. You know what I'm saying? He did a lot of drinking. He whooped a lot of ass. You know what I'm saying? My sister here, she gonna start laughing. But
she right there.
Yeah, my sister. You know what I'm
hey
saying?
sis, I see you. Hey sis.
he was a great man as far as I know. They might have different stories, but they never have expressed that he was never there for any of us when we needed him.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? My stepfather was the same way for me. You know what I'm saying? He was just who he was. He was a man of principle and morals, and he didn't care what whoever family didn't feel that way. He was going to do it his way, and that's what it was. So I come from, you know, men that just took care of business, you know, but even after the divorce, you know, I still had a great relationship with my stepfather. My father he had passed when I was young. And I still had a relationship with my children. The example was set for me that I held on to that. You know what I'm saying? Like my kids,
based off what
they grown now, but we still have a relationship. Like we still live in the same house. You know what I'm saying? Hell, my son live with me now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's just, I don't know, man. Sometimes, you know, that they break up and people be like, they even go with it. I mean, my kids, right. But you had this relationship with these kids.
It's only as big as the relationship.
You know what I'm saying?
In
like,
some cases.
So did you love?
And that's
why the kids while you was with the mama.
That's why I said it's
you know what I'm saying.
At the top is the true essential love. I want to read some comments real quick. Brian, he said, because some of us didn't have a dad and wanted to make a difference in another child's life.
But why didn't you have your own kids?
And that comes with the love thing that I talked about. You ain't finna just skeet up in it. Right. You ain't finna be shooting up all these clubs just to have a kid, okay? My man Big Mike, Fresh Division came through. Appreciate you, bro. We got to get you back on here. But he said you're definitely not less than a man for being an adult and taking care of kids. You just have to be mentally mature enough.
I know you do, Brian. I was just saying in general. My bad.
You have to be mentally enough. You have to be mentally mature enough to know what you're getting into before starting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's why I say when you're dealing with this lady, be true. At some point, if you know you want kids and she tell you, I'm on the fence. Hey, look, this depends on how this relationship gonna go. Cause I'm saying, like you said, if I'm trying to live my, pass my legacy on, I need to know if this is something we can do together.
What if naturally she just can't do it?
In that case, you just adopt. You adopt.
That ain't always a question. Answer, bro.
It ain't, but I mean, unless unless she's open enough to you having a surrogate mother,
Oh, you going all the way.
I mean, sure. At this point, anything has happened with
you on
science.
your Wave family. All right, all right, okay.
Anything can happen.
You know what I'm saying? Now, that's tough, man. Like I said, I wouldn't say a guy is weak. I would want to know, because I went through it. Like when men come to me and say, "Yo, I like this girl," first thing I ask, how many kids she got? What's the relationship between the mother and that father? You know what I'm saying? Things like that. And I tried to tell my homeboy before. When he was with a woman and she had kids. I told him, I said, "You ain't built to be a stepfather." I said, "You're not." He went along, tried it anyway. It didn't work. You know what I'm saying? But, I told him that. And I will tell especially my homeboys, if they ask me, because I see how brothers is. And it take a lot. Like, I don't know how many step parents is in this room. It takes a lot to deal with that.
Yeah, I know. I've looked at some step parents and I'd be like, "Why is you dealing with this?"
You see what I'm saying? Like,
what are you doing?
For real,
some good ones. And I think a lot of times the generation before us and before them, like our grandparents and our parents, I think a lot of them, it was like they gonna do their shit in the street, but I'm gonna take care of who under my roof. I'm gonna do that regardless if they mine or not. Cause I know, my dad used to take in one of my homeboys that grew up across the street from him. His mom used to work late.
Right.
And, he would just come over and have dinner with us every night. You know what I'm saying? And that was just, she didn't ask him to. It was just, I'm not finna have this kid out here like that.
Right. I would have loved to have my oldest brother on this topic. Elon, do you think he'd have been good for this, huh? But
how you doing, man? We need to get up there.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man.
It's funny to hear you say that. You probably
if I know what I know,
do it differently.
Yeah, man. If let's say I'm 10 years back, so let's say I'm 35, 10 years back. I don't know if I could date a woman if I ain't got no kids. I don't know if I could date a woman with kids. I really don't.
Right. That's been my life.
Like even now, you know what I'm saying?
Been my life.
If I met a woman and she had kids, how old is these little niggas? You know what I'm saying? Because, and this is something that I really feel. I'm not a professional stepfather. You know what I'm saying? That's not my. You know what I'm saying? I ain't out here just raising other people's kids. And I've given so much love to my kids. I don't even know if I got no more love like that to give anybody else kids, man. Like I done gave my kids all of it.
That's valid.
Because I never thought I would be,
in that position.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So I went into it with like, these is my kids. And I gave them all of it. I don't know if I could see somebody else kids and get them the same thing. Not at 45, man. You know what I'm saying? Not at 45.
Especially when the dad like, man.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
I come get you. I don't worry about it.
Like,
and then they be sitting there. He don't never show up.
Like I mean, it's a lot. It was some of that. You know what I'm saying? I would never sit on here and shit on the other dads. The dads, they biological fathers. They did what they did, and I made it work. You know what I'm saying? So it's all good. I wish Misha stopped calling me. I'm doing the show.
And she got
call you back.
Another thing, I want to shout out Kurt with his uncles and aunties show. And
he changed the name. He changed the name already.
Today? What?
Yesterday.
Really?
Yeah, but go ahead, dog.
Look up Kurt Clay on Facebook. He has a show. He had Natural Essentials Ja in the room. Good conversation. They had the conversation about dating and age ranges. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah. Shout out to Kurt.
Shout out to Kurt, man.
What else we got, dog?
The other one, I kind of want to wait till we have a lady up there.
Okay, then wrap it up there.
My
battery about to die anyway.
Yeah, we gonna go on the end on that though, because that was a good one right there, and it was a lot to think about, man. This show was kind of heavy, but it was good. We covered a lot of stuff. Again, we're gonna be here 6 o'clock. We're gonna
6-ish. I'll be on time next week.
We're gonna shoot for 6 o'clock. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us, man. Like I said, subscribe on YouTube. We on Apple, Spotify, Anchor. Again, we appreciate y'all hanging out with us, and we gonna get up out of here. Y'all just hold it in the road.
Yeah, y'all be safe out there, man. And we'll see y'all next week.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You still recording?
We good.
Oh yeah. Everybody go and listen to De La Soul. Their music is now able to be streamed.
Yes,
Let's put some money in their pockets because Tommy Boy been taking it all.
Taking
If you a De La Soul fan, please go and listen to everything they got for like the next 2 weeks.
Yes, indeed. Rest in peace, Plug
Rest
2.
in peace, Plug 2.
Yes, indeed, man. Y'all get on that De La. Luckily, I still have most of the CDs.
The second greatest group of all time.
That don't get no love today.
Tribe #1. Yeah, you go ahead.
All right, like I said, we out of here. We gonna holler. Shout out Outkast.
If Gift can be a hater, I can be a hater.
Shout out Outkast. Good and Mo.
My boy Gift be clouded lately. Yeah, my boy Gift be.